Good morning guys, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going into my makeup collection since I am not allowed to wear makeup right now. Well, never mind. I'm making my own thing of saying, okay, don't wear makeup until your skin heals. And if you're wondering what that means, it's my skin has been basically dealing with a lot of problems lately. You can tell there's a bunch of like breakouts going on if I really zoomed in, but I don't really want to because I don't want you to see them. But you see like redness and stuff. It's gone down quite a bit since. I have not been doing anything makeup wise. So, but that doesn't mean that the makeup was the problem. What I will end up doing is sanitizing my brushes and all of the makeup stuff that you're about to see. This will most likely be in parts because there are a lot of things here. This is just for the eyeshadow right now. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, it's a huge drawer. I mean, I know that there are other beauty channels that have like absurd more stuff than I do. But this is just for eyes. So that should be really interesting. If my lips look kind of glossy, they are. It's because I put on the e.l.f. lippy stick in the shade Coral. And yes, I'm calling it a lippy stick because it is both a lipstick and lip liner in one. So this is actually your lipstick and your lip liner. And if you want a fine point, you can always go to this end. It comes out and it sharpens it. However, you're just shaving away at lipstick. So I just try to be as precise as possible. And then on top of it, I put the e.l.f. Pout Perfector. This is in the shade Glow. So it looks a bit like this. I don't know if that actually does a dang thing for you to see that. It is very metallic. I love it, and when I run out, I will end up replacing it because I love it. It's very nice, very shiny, and it's very moisturizing. Alright, let's get into this. So, the first thing that I'm going to talk to you about, and there's going to be a lot of e.l.f. products in here, by the way. Just throwing that out there because I love e.l.f. There's also a lot of ColourPop in here, so just be aware of that too, but there are other brands out there. So this is a little palette. It's like a little to-go palette from e.l.f. It's called Saturday Sunsets, and you get this nice little mirror compact in there, and you get this kind of setup. I will zoom you guys in for this stuff. So you get a nice setup. This is supposed to be your highlighter, and by the way, I won't be swatching anything today just because I do have a bit of the skin problem on my hands as well, so I'm just trying to keep everything as sanitary as possible. So I'm sorry about that. When I can, and you guys want me to, make sure to write down whatever palette I am using or shadow that you want me to swatch later, and leave it down in the comments below. Thank you. Okay, so basically you get a little highlighter right here. You wouldn't really know because it's just like, it's not translating very well on camera. This is more like the only matte shade in here because the three of these three of these are shimmers. This gold one right here, or bronze one, is actually really pigmented. So is this one right here. Also the matte is pigmented, but this little pink one right here, very shimmery. That's probably one that you're going to want to use on the brow bone to highlight it. But yeah, definitely a good one to have on the go. And these are going to be jumping brands too, so I'll go ahead and back you up just a little bit. This one is from the ColourPop Hello Kitty collection when they collabed. Unfortunately, this collection is no longer available, but I'm sure, I mean, with ColourPop, they always come out, at least that I've noticed, with shades that are exactly the same as these, or they do one similar, so don't worry about that. You can still get these colors more than likely. I have no idea what that was, but it was on my finger. Anyway, so I want to show you some of these. These are Super Shock shadows. This one's in Rainbow, and it's literally just a white shimmer shade. So it's literally just a shimmer like that. And it can go on top of anything. It'll most likely go, I mean, you could put this on top of a matte eyeshadow. I'm sure that you could even use it to pat onto your lips. I don't know, I've never done that. This one is called Friendship File, and it looks a lot like this, and it is somewhat pigmented, and it's a very light gold shade, but it is mostly a very highlighting color. This next one is called Small Gift. I adore this line. I love Hello Kitty, and I really need to get a case for that for my phone. So you have this shade, Small Gift. This one is very creamy and very pigmented. Definitely look into this because it is a beautiful shade. And then the last one in this quad looks like this. Oh, and there's no, shoot. Hold on, what is the name of you? So this is School Bus. For some, there's no sticker back there. This is also very pigmented. It's kind of like a blue. So I'm just lightly going over that. And it's so pretty. And again, very pigmented, very great on the eyes. It might stain your finger a little bit if you're using a finger application, which honestly I would recommend that you use that kind of application. But that is up to you, what you decide to do. I'm sorry, I'm putting these back in order. I'm just like, but yeah, that's up to you. You can use a brush, however, Super Shock shadows really don't need them all that much, so just be aware of that. So there's the Hello Kitty collection, or that quad anyway. So then the next thing we're going to go into, Hello Sun. Sorry, it was dang. It was like raining. Oh well, we're going to have to deal. So, okay, there we go. We're good again. So this is another ColourPop set. It's called Blow Me Away. You get 4 sets in the palette, plus you get 2 singles. So when you pull it out of the sleeve, this is what it looks like. And then when you open it up, you have, as I mentioned, I'm going to move these closer together so I can keep them together. You have a quad going on right there, and then the 2 that I'm holding in are the 2 singles that came with this collection. They did not put the names on the back of the palette. That's because when you're done with these shadows, you can pop them right out and put another one in and make your very own palette. They did put the shades in order on the back of this sleeve. However, they did not put the names of the colors, the extra singles. The singles were ones that you could get on your own. This is highly pigmented. It went in with the, for last spring. So this was part of 3 series of the spring collection. This is the Nectar collection. It is very pigmented, and I'm sorry that I'm not swatching things for you. But again, my skin, I have to be very careful of what I'm doing right now. Even though I'm going to sanitize everything anyway, most likely, I have to be careful. So this next palette is, and it's huge, I know. It's an e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. It has a little mirror right there in case you need it, but it bends down and looks like this. You have very neutral shades here and more like pops of color there. Some of them are really nice and pigmented, whereas other ones are just not. So you're definitely going to want to use, like, you're going to want to spray your brush maybe and just use a wet application. I'm just saying, because not all of them work out very well. This is an e.l.f. Prism Shadow Kit in the in the shade Sunset. So it's these right here, Prism Shadows. None of them have names, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But it goes in this order down here. All of them are very nice and pigmented. You wouldn't have to deal with a lot of what you have to deal with other shadows, like the last palette that I just showed you. It comes with a good mirror, and I will use my finger. I mean, they're not the most pigmented things in the world, but I mean, they're okay. They definitely are good eyeshadow toppers for something else. So definitely keep that in mind. And they sell this also in natural shades too. So don't worry about that if you're a little bit like, I don't know. So the next one we're going to go into is one of my favorites. This is Where the Light Is, which was a ColourPop collaboration with Kathleen Lights. This was the first ColourPop stuff I ever purchased. I really I love Kathleen Lights. Her channel is amazing. Obviously it's called Kathleen Lights. Her name is Kathleen. She puts her name in there just like I did for mine. And we come out with a quad here. So this right here, which is what I use more as a transition shade, like to cover any veins that are on the lid. It could work as a concealer. That's up to you. I would wet the brush a bit. But, I'm gonna have to really work this out to keep it from drying out. But it looks like this. It's a very light shade. And it will, for me personally, oh, lovely. My fingers are getting stained, but for this, I mean, I tend to use it more like an eyelid concealer, or a primer even for that matter, and it's called Glow, if I didn't already share that with you. Sorry, I'm wiping them fingers off as best I can. And then this other matte shade I also put on just the lid. This is called Cornelius, and Cornelius is the name of one of her dogs. So it looks like this, and we're gonna go ahead and swirl a little bit. It's very nice and brown. It's a very nice nude shade for your lid. I just put it on the lid, whereas where I put this one, I put it all over up to the brow. And before anybody says anything, I know I need to get my brows done. I know. So the next shade is called Kathleen Lights, and it looks a lot like this right here. So I mean, and it's very easy to pick up, very pigmented, swatches very well. And I'm so sorry I'm not doing swatches. This breaks my heart. I mean, look how pigmented that was on the paper towel, dang. Anyway, and then the last one is called Blaze. This one, unfortunately, I have dropped twice. So it looks like this. It looks very crappy in the pan right now because, as I said, it dropped. So there is this shade here. And I can show you later how to fix your Super Shock shadows. Hi, son. How you doing? Apparently great, because you're trying to blind me. Okay, so that's what's in that quad. Sorry, I'm moving as fast as possible. But again, we're going to be doing these in parts. So there you go. So put the quads back in. Always make sure that with Super Shock shadows that you put the cap back on right when you're done, because otherwise they will dry out and you'll be sad. So there's that. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually go on to part 2. And let's see how well we can do this. Alright. Hold on.